Coercion is a subtle and powerful force that undermines self-directed learning. And coercion is a really tricky business and needs to be addressed directly and clearly. We swim in a culture of coercion, and most of us have been coerced since birth, so we don't necessarily see it for what it is. Most of us think that being coerced and coercing others is pretty normal and natural. So we need some education and we need lots of examples before coercion moves from the invisible to the visible. Now, the more visible manifestations of coercion in our institutions is a punishment that happens when a rule is set and imposed by an authority and it's broken. A bad grade, detention, suspension, timeouts, a card system, chore chart, spanking, elimination of privileges, community service are all the sticks that are used to get compliance to the system or rules and expectations. Now, the invisible manifestations are often psychological in nature. So some of the psychological tools of coercion include withdrawal of attention, love or approval, shame, ostracizing when a rule is broken, sorting people into categories based on how they measure up to expectations, giving attention, love, or approval when a rule is followed. So I've heard of lots of examples of this from parents I've spoken with. One parent told me of a local school where the first grade teacher had a board up front, and one board said good readers and one said bad readers. And so depending on her evaluation of good and bad reading and where the child was, they would be put on one board or another. Another parent told me about a teacher that had a card that they kept on the child's desk, and the card said good or bad. And depending on whether that child was following rules that day, their card was either good or bad. And if it was bad, who knows what they did? They spoke out in class, they fidgeted. They'd get flipped. Their card would get flipped to bad. I mean, that's public shaming and humiliation. That is coercion. So it's also invisible when a person needs to do certain activities that are prescribed by an authority outside of herself or himself in order to participate in a group or move to the next level. And we say that all the time in conventional schooling. So, one question I'm going to leave you with, because it's one that I think about. There are a lot of really fabulous progressive schools that are trying to redo education. And there are no tests or grades, and yet there are required activities. Make a map of India, write a short story. Now it's time for PE. We're all going to read this book and discuss it. Now, since the teachers or the people that run the school are choosing it, are these activities coerced? Or by simply joining the progressive school and seeing that there is a schedule that has like math, language arts, PE, science, are you implicitly agreeing to do these activities just by joining the school? I mean, I'm not sure, but I think if we all spend a little more time thinking about coercion and manipulation, then we'll find some good answers to these questions.